Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game, Infi versus Happy. This game taking place here on Echo Isle version 2.2. Infi spawning as the blue human player on the top left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Happy has spawned as the yellow undead on the top right. This taken from GG Cup 2. I have not heard about this particular game, but I know that some great games were played in this matchup, and hopefully you guys can watch it alongside with me. Now, things opening up here, pretty standard, run-of-the-mill Ultra of Kings, nothing to be alarmed or just trying to draw too much attention so far. Crypt, Ultra of Darkness, no graveyard yet, so it looks like it will be Death Knight and Ghouls to open things up. Really need to see that Tomb of Relics, and well, let's just get to that 2-minute mark of the game to begin, well, unlocking things. Are we gonna go? No, Crypt Lord. All right, so Crypt Lord first, interestingly enough. Thank you for the sub, Leisure30. I don't know if you subbed through, really don't know if you subbed through YouTube or if you subbed through Twitch, but considering I have no viewers right now, according to the application, probably subbed through YouTube. Well, if you guys haven't subbed on YouTube, definitely consider doing so. It definitely helps out. All that social media jazz, making me more relevant and, well, pertinent. But then again, World of Warcraft makes things difficult for any Warcraft 3 content to really take off in any sense. All right, Forest Troll Shadow Priest was picked up by Infi from the far mercenary camp, and that is going to be important as it opens up another Forest Troll Shadow Priest for Abolish Magic. Being able to abolish magic and take down some of these skeletal minions is a key factor here. By being able to take down units, slow down creeping, and then at the same time, also in the same way, give experience to that Archmage. Archmage already sitting at level 2 now, and with that, could perhaps pick up another Forest Troll Shadow Priest here. Meanwhile, the Forest Troll Shadow Priest is pushing in a little bit of pressure, and Infi and Happy both have a Forest Troll Shadow Priest, so this is also quite important. We're looking at the Forest Troll Shadow Priest, 17 to 24 piercing ranged damage here. Archmage gonna perhaps try and finish things off, take that down. Forest Troll Shadow Priest now benefiting from Brilliant Aura, dropping in a Water Elemental as the units are looking to back away. All right, Infi's a Forest Troll Shadow Priest backing up here. There's a Forest Troll Shadow Priest here, and an expansion already being placed down by Infi. So this is looking pretty strong out of the gate by both players. Both players trying to be aggressive. Both players trying to set up expansions. And we're going to see, well, more damage being thrown down again. All right, low hit point Ghoul. Going to get into a little bit of an issue there, but an Abolish Magic once more causes problems as this Forest Troll Shadow Priest tries to exchange blows, taking down that Forest Troll Shadow Priest back in the back. All right, that Forest Troll Shadow Priest down to 24 hit points. We're going to see some damage now be placed down by the Ziggurat. Meanwhile, off on the other side here, Militia now being called over from the main base. Archmage did drop a Water Elemental, but that's only one Water Elemental right here. Forest Troll, no Forest Troll Shadow Priest here to try to deal with any of these summons as the Beetles are making their way over. Wow, perfect lineup, a perfect impale across 5 peasants there. 2 peasants quickly getting taken down and, well, slowing down the town hall being constructed. All right, it looks as though this town hall will be completed. There you are, there you go. Arcane Tower not yet done. Archmage is still trying to, well, regenerate some hit points, stay alive as the Nerubian Tower now currently getting upgraded. All right, little bit of damage going back and forth there. Footman perhaps going to go after the Forest Troll Shadow Priest, perhaps going after the Acolytes. Meanwhile, back here, wow, the tower, the Arcane Tower, which was nearly done being upgraded, quickly getting taken out instead as a low hit point Footman hides in the back here. All right, this is an absolute nightmare trying to keep track of where all of the action is going on in the game. Archmage going to come back around, perhaps try and drop a Water Elemental. There's plenty of corpses down here on the ground for this Crypt Lord to, well, summon up some more skeletal minions. Another peasant gets taken out again, and then now we're just seeing level 3 now on the Archmage there. Level 3 Archmage. And, well, I believe it's going to be level 2 Water Elementals. There's level 3 on the Crypt Lord. Crypt Lord's going to summon up more Beetles as well. So those Beetles are just going to be that much tougher too. All right, Crypt Lord taking some superficial damage as he's teleporting away. These Beetles will be backing up. And we're finally out past that opening stages of the game here. Both players having to go back to their respective corners will be resting up. and because they're resting up, well, they will be able to also deal more damage to each other. Crypt Lord going after a couple of these kobolds amongst all of these units now. Kobold gonna get taken out. Dual Forest Troll Shadow Priest for Infi, or excuse me, for Happy, as those Forest Troll Shadow Priests may be able to abolish magic, the Water Elemental, extremely quickly. Alright, a couple of Acolytes trying to get some mining in. Forest Troll Shadow Priest coming across there. There's one abolish magic, there's another abolish magic, and now that is a downed Water Elemental by the hands of the Acolyte. Haunted Gold Mine, however, going to be forced to get cancelled, and that is going to be lost gold again, forcing it to be resummoned. Meanwhile, the Crypt Lord nearing level 4, Archmage just at level 3, as the Crypt Lord may actually get to level 4 off of that Footman kill. Yes, he does, and now has level 2 Impale to go alongside that those beetles. All right. A little bit of damage here. We're looking at an Arcane Tower now, full saturation on this gold mine. Arcane Vault being sped built, 2 footmen nearby here, as the Archmage needs to retreat back, perhaps heal up, and then try and re-engage. Couple of footmen down to the south here, 1 Arcane Tower. All right, this needs to be a massive quick repair here. A lot of peasants down to the south as well, as we are upgrading to tier 2. This is one thing I never quite understood. Why didn't Infi consider upgrading that to a keep? By upgrading it to a keep, he can call to arms from 2 separate locations. Archmage needs to pick up, yes, did pick up a Scroll of Regeneration. Arcane Tower now trying to push back the other way, also using up a Clarity Potion. That tower quickly taken down, and a well-timed throw of an axe by the Forest Troll Berserker. Strong micro coming up across from Happy to stop the Clarity Potion and all of those heals on that Archmage, who now has no easy way of trying to remove some of that damage. More peasants getting taken out. Crypt Lord still gaining more experience. Meanwhile, Archmage is fighting back all of these beetles here, and we're looking at a Forest Troll Shadow Priest going to be able to back up. Another ghoul gets taken down. Archmage actually getting a fair amount of experience off of this lagging push here, as more and more units are getting cleaned up again. Archmage looking to back up here. Beetles are trying to swarm up against that Archmage. No Arcane Vault off to the north. More militia being called back down to the south here, as the Water Elemental is still in position. Alright, Water Elemental is going to turn back around, perhaps go after some of those Forest Troll Shadow Priests. Forest Troll Shadow Priest able to get away. Let's see, a couple of footmen here. Are they going to be able to get in front of these units here? They're going to see some attacks, and here we go. Forest Troll Berserker ended up getting the kill. Crypt Lord coming back the other side, nearing level 5 now, as we're looking at more ghouls. This massive tier 1 strategy by Happy, going wide, going mass ghouls, getting beetles, skeletal minions, all of it seems to be working out fairly well, as a militia now looks to back away again. 1 guard tower alongside the Arcane Tower, but will it get upgraded in time? Being able to train up additional peasants here is important, but I believe a call to arms would have been much better, as the Archmage quickly comes in with, Clarity Potion, Scroll of Regeneration, and that quickly gets disrupted again. Alright, another use right there. Archmage now looking to retreat back. Massive repairs onto that Arcane Tower. Arcane Tower trying to hold steady. Starting to take too much damage, though. Down to 140 and dropping ever so quickly, as we're looking at the peasants desperately working to try and keep that up. Guard Tower now up, and the Guard Tower is going to be able to do quite a bit of poking. Arcane Tower still holding steady. No, down to 30 hit points and finally falls. Alright, how much damage was done there, Archmage? Down to 147 hit points. Perhaps a new tower will be added. Infi's worker count is at 25, folks. Infi has 25 peasants out on this battlefield, and he's still somehow low on lumber because of all of this. So 25 workers, perhaps, taking down. Why walk through the trees to cut down another tree? Perhaps advanced lumber harvesting will be needed as well. All right, we are at tier 2, going to tier 3. Mountain King about to be added. Archmage gets up to level 4, as I thought we were going to have a little bit of reprieve in the fights, but no. Happy with other strategies, other thoughts instead, as we are going into a second crypt, perhaps going into gargoyles at tier 2. That could catch things a little bit off guard. I don't see a blacksmith. Nope, take it back. Blacksmith getting sped built down on the south side here. Infi does need to upgrade that to a tower as well, as we are looking at those 25 workers really working hard, and you can see that lumber just growing ever so quickly now. All right, nope, no advanced lumber harvesting. This creep camp has already been cleared. Scroll of Regeneration. Mountain King picks up a potion of invulnerability, the lesser variety, as the Crypt Lord now sits at level 5 as well. All right, dropping in a water elemental. Crypt Lord gonna go ahead and teleport on in. There he is. Shows up to the party. We're gonna see a quick impale across multiple units there, and well, some lasting damage as the footmen were still stunned. Both sides still fighting. Mountain King pretty much low on mana. There's, I believe, a ritual dagger denying the experience and getting them a little bit of heals. Another footman about to get taken out as the Mountain King shows up to stormbolt down that Forest Troll Berserker, trying to go after those easy targets that deal large amounts of damage. Meanwhile, Water Elemental gonna get impaled and get splashed into a puddle of nothing as the Archmage tries to deny a Water Elemental there, unable to do so. Mountain King retreating back, does have a Clarity Potion, standing alongside the Archmage with that Brilliance Aura, should be getting up mana and getting it quickly. Back home, Infi now transitioning into flying machines, getting upgrades for those knights that will be trained up here in just a moment as soon as we reach tier 3, I bet. All right, 39 over 58 supply. Mountain King falls at level 1. Did it fall at the Death Knight hand? No. Crypt Lord, maybe? Wasn't sure where. So much to keep track of in this battle. There's been action back and forth. Hasn't been one major battle sitting anywhere in particular. And, well, makes it difficult to try and keep track of what's happening. All right, how is this all going to go down? Archmage coming back down to the south here, going to try and remove that Temple of the Damned. Meanwhile, we do have dual crypts, but nothing being trained right there. Guard tower, only a single guard tower, and now the Crypt Lord with bearing gifts from the Death Knight has dual potions of mana. More impales could be in order as more beetles are getting summoned up. These are the stronger, or these are still the tier 2 variety. We have stronger beetles instead. Those beetles dealing 15 to 18 damage as knights are coming in to try and deal with this infestation. No Sundering Blades on these knights so far, but they are going straight after these Crypt Fiends because, well, normal damage still deals quite a bit back across here. Are we going to see a Staff of Sanctuary? No, Infi did not buy a Staff of Sanctuary on that Paladin before it made its way down. Archmage now shows its way over. There's another Holy Light, and there's some Militia, all of them getting impaled. Levels 3 impale. You saw how much damage was done there, and now all of those Militia quickly realizing, wait a second, you know what? One more impale, and I am gone. I do not want to be standing around in this battle. Archmage gets up to level 5 now. It's going to be level 3 Water Elementals. Level 3 Water Elemental still hasn't been dropped. Finally getting summoned up. Death Knight could have a bit of problems. Are we going to see a Stormbolt onto that Death Knight? Stormbolt onto the Death Knight, and a potion of Scroll of Town Portal used in order to get away instead. 49 supply over 76 compared to 43 over 60. Well, more workers will need to be brought back over, perhaps an Arcane Tower as well. Coming back across here, Paladin, Mountain King, Archmage, and Knights are going to be trying to clear this out. Archmage shouldn't be in this fight here. He's just going to end up stealing some of that experience. Should really be backing away. Does have a Staff of Sanctuary, though. So, well, we all know how powerful that Staff of Sanctuary can be in the battles later on. All right, Knight going to clean up that last Kobold Geomancer. Paladin gets up to level 2. Mountain King still sitting at level 1. Does have a Pendant of Energy, as the majority of the creep camps have been cleared out. Only this northern shop, which I believe was partially cleared, and, well, these last couple of wing creep camps available. Now, Infi does have the tech for flying machines, but we haven't seen it as of yet. Lich is now out on the battlefield as well, has that Orb of Corruption, so it is Crypt Lord first, followed by Death Knight, followed by Lich. Banshees have the Adept training, are we looking at the Mastery training? We are, so Possession is also going to be on the table. All right, Rock Golem going to get taken out. Pendant of Energy is going to be, doubly picked up by that Mountain King. So the Mountain King, if it can get to level 3, will have a lot of powerful bullets in the chamber, so to speak, to try and shut down those banshees from being able to possess knights. Just always an uphill battle. It seems when you finally get some high hit point units such as knights out on the battlefield to deal with the impales, the death coils, and the frost novas. All undead has to do is just train up possession and say thank you very much. Those knights are perfect in my army too. Coming back down to the south side, 58 supply compared to 70. Well, Happy a little bit lower on the overall supply count. Meanwhile, Archmage quickly picks up a ring of superiority. Units are going to be making a move out into the center of the battlefield here. Knights do have Sundering Blades and also that animal war training. Are we going to be looking at some storm bolts? No, we do not. Archmage trying to put in pressure, trying to take things down here. Is a Banshee going to pop on out right at the wrong moment? It is, but is it going to get attacked? No, it is not. As well, Happy is still looking to put pressure. All right. Couple of easy water elemental kills here. A couple of ghouls will make its way over. It looks like, oh, that one Banshee, one more bit of splash damage from the water elemental would have taken it down. Instead, it's able to get away. Coming back through. Paladin, Mountain King making their way off to the north here. Paladin and Mountain King will not be able to level up here, but we do see some nice items being dropped. That Mountain King up to 13 armor already, so not going to be easily taken out simply by auto attacks. As we're looking at the Banshees, and well, Ghouls now ready to make a move out. Look at that. That is a large, scary number of Banshees here. Perhaps possession is going to be on the table. Flying Machine does keep track of all of this here. We see a battle ready to rage on, and here we are ready to go. All right, Stormbolt straight up onto the Crypt Lord. Mortar teams are lobbing in those attacks. Mountain King gets in a good Thunderclap, only to be countered by a better impressive Impale, as the Mortar teams are trying to, well, splash down all of those Banshees in the backfield. Archmage gets repositioned here. We're going to go ahead and refight. There goes another massive Impale. Scroll of Healing to be used there. Mortar teams getting blasted down by the Frost Nova and Impale attacks, as the Mortar teams were still lobbing in attacks again. Wow, trying to relearn mouse positions. All right, I'm going to try and engage here. All those Mortar teams unable to get easy splash damage onto those Banshees again. There's another Thunderclap going across the back there. Mountain King does get to level 3, opted to go for level 2 clap, just in case it was surrounded by a bunch of Banshees. Could throw down that clap right there and slow all those units. All right, Paladin and Archmage both have Staff of Sanctuaries. Mountain King, the only one without one. Mortar teams lobbing in attacks again. So it wasn't going to be for Flying Machines. Mortar teams incredibly strong. Death Knight at level 3 and the Lich at level 2. So there is still a strong window of opportunity for these Mortar teams to be pushing through large amounts of damage. All right. Mortar teams ready to engage here. Mountain King looking to pull back. We're looking at the flares, the mortar flares, to try and find ways to deal damage. Mortar team's going to go ahead and just continue to lob damage against all of these units again. There goes another Impale against all of those Mortar teams. Staff of Sanctuary for the save, and this is just absolutely tiring. Death Coil going to be just in time, but no, the follow-up damage from the Knights cannot be disregarded. Level 2 Lich falls here, as the Mortar teams are just constantly throwing up flares in the air to keep track and keep pace on where these Banshees possibly are. All right, more damage coming back across here. Mortar teams not able to catch up. There's another Stormbolt coming across from the Mountain King, sniping down another Banshee. 76 supply compared to 68, as the Knights need to get in a position here, make sure that they act as a strong front line and not overexpose these Mortar teams on the side. Mortar teams are going to just simply walk into the undead base and perhaps try to begin to lob and deal some damage here, forcing an engagement. Meanwhile, some peasants are walking along the north side here. One water elemental easily going to get taken out, and in comes the Mortar teams, well, ready to push down that pressure. what, 56 supply army going up against 62. Scroll of Town Portal now inbound. Knights are going to try and engage this mortar team. What's going to happen there? Staff of Sanctuary saves it, and then Scroll of Town Portal to back away in time. One mortar team gets taken down, and I believe that was it. Peasants now retreating back now. More mortar teams joining in together. Staff of Sanctuary healing up that mortar team there. It looks like the Mountain King, well, gonna also be picking up a Staff of Sanctuary as well, using up a Clarity Potion. Is it gonna transfer that pendant back over later? That is a question, as the Archmage also picks up an Orb of Fire. All right. We can see Knights also have a bit of curses, has curses cast on them, making them miss their targets. A couple of flares, they're trying to get into position. They're finding where that army is. Archmage going to try and engage. Militia now trying to make their way over. Mortar teams, Mountain King perhaps with level 2 Thunderclap going to try and eat away at some of that, well, massive green anti-magic shell. And here we go. Across all of those units. There goes an Impale. There's a Thunderclap trying to finish off many of those Banshees. Archmage, could there be in trouble? Knights with possession, turning colors, 76 supply compared to 71. There's another Thunderclap there. There goes another Banshee there. So a lot of Banshees lost, but enough Knights had turned colors to perhaps cause problems. Mortar teams impaled. Are they going to be able to break free? That Archmage unable to, well, break out of that position there as the Knights are still fighting. This is just a massive battle. That anti-magic shell in the front line position, making it difficult for the Mountain King to easily cut through what would normally be a very fragile front line with a level 2 Thunderclap. Instead, that anti-magic shell is absorbing quite a bit of damage, and with that, well, unable to get to that backline spot. There's that Thunderclap right there. You can see all of that slowness happening as the Mountain King still giving chase. Mountain King still has 2 bullets in the chamber, but, well, with only the level 1 variety in their Stormbolt, not able to easily pick off any of these trailing units. There is 1 Arcane Tower here, and that is it. That's a lot of ghouls that are going to be trying to walk inside that base, and we see a Staff of, well, what's going to happen here? Water elementals. One water elemental here trying to offer in a bit of protection. Mortar teams. We're going to see this Arcane Tower perhaps get taken down very quickly as the Archmage and the mortar teams are trying to make their way over. All right, 1 water elemental taken down, or 1 water elemental not going to be enough to take down simply all of these ghouls as the mortar teams finally show up and getting a little bit of that splash damage as well. 77 supply compared to 80. More repairs are underway. We're going to see some Knights perhaps engage right here. Low hit point ghouls. Mountain King Stormbolt going to find 1. Holy Light could find another. Yep, finds another right there. 2 ghouls down as the guard tower picks things off here. Northern starting gold mines have mined out, and now we are going to that 5th and final gold mine. Whoever can take it, well, mines more gold for themselves while denying it for their opponent. Criplord did get to level 6, but has not shown, well, never mind, gonna be going for that ultimate ability, that Locust Swarm, as we see a couple of illusions out here on the battlefield as well, trying to figure out which one is which. Units are gonna try and engage. They're all gonna be backing away. Knights are now ready to push, and well, there's gonna be a problem. There's an Impale across all of those mortar teams now. There's a Frost Nova, and well, that's all of that damage that we talked about. Mortar teams just getting absolutely destroyed. Glass cannons in every sense of the term. 4 out of the 5 mortar teams taken down in pretty much an instant, with the 5th one getting lost right there. Both sides still fighting their way through. Locust Swarm was not used, and we're looking at a little bit of trailing damage across these units here. Where is that Mountain King perhaps to try and get in a Stormbolt? Doesn't have enough mana as of yet. Units are still making their way off to the north. Death Knight with Unholy Aura able to lead the charge of retreat out of this position here. Are we going to perhaps see another Impale? Knights are trying to get into position. A narrow choke point here. Both sides fighting their way through. Mountain King shows up and says, you know what? I may be able to get a bullet here, as the Mountain King could be in a little bit of trouble trying to make its way through. Going to continue to fight. There's a Stormbolt onto the Lich. Lich does have a potion of invulnerability, which I believe will be used. Now has 6 seconds to try and get away. Mountain King doesn't have enough mana. Another massive Impale coming back across as the Mountain King unable to chase down that Lich. All right, Staff of Sanctuaries constantly bringing knights back home. A lot of Banshees once more out on the battlefield. Banshees, that possession, so powerful. As we're looking at the northern expo here by Happy, not very well defended, but it's going to be difficult for Infi to move his army off to the north and really do anything. What's happening now? Coming back down to the southern side, one lone knight ready to clean up some of these poor peasants with those sundering blades can, and well, really deal large amounts of damage. As the knights are now making their ways around again. All right, 2 bases mining versus 1. Both sides are in, well, no, take it back. Infi now in that high upkeep. So 4 gold a second compared to 14. That is quite a big difference. Infi needs to make something happen with this larger army. Otherwise, the gap is just going to continue to grow and grow. This Mountain King has been sitting at level 3 for so long. Same thing with that Paladin. So many units have fallen, so I'm actually quite surprised we haven't actually seen any real level ups here, as we're perhaps going to be looking at a Thunderclap going down against all of these ghouls. All those ghouls simply ran by, but nothing really happened to them. There's the Mountain King Thunderclap trying to perhaps finish off some of those Banshees. Mountain King absorbing lots of damage. Staff of Sanctuary bringing back units quickly. Mortar teams trying to get in position, perhaps to splash down some of those units. And there goes a strong Impale taking down multiple peasants and mortar teams once more. A knight going to get taken down. Mountain King gets up to level 4, gets a little bit more mana, could be a little bit more scary as we're looking at more damage coming on through. Well, are we going to see some splash damage? Banshees trying to get taken down. There goes a Banshee. There goes another Banshee. And, well, 1 and 2 falling left and right as we're still looking at a strong push coming across. 63 supply compared to 70. Another Impale going up against all of these units. Mountain King does not have enough for a Stormbolt, and those units all retreat back. 69 supply compared to 63. We're going to be looking at perhaps the mortar teams being able to finish off this haunted gold mine off to the north here. And by taking it down, taking out these acolytes, continuing to get a little bit further ahead. Now, Archmage getting very close to level 6. Does have, well, how many units back at home? Nothing back at home under the Staff of Sanctuary effect, as the main or the expansion gold mines only have about 2.5 minutes of mining left, maybe 3.5 for the undead. All right, here comes the battle. Well, Knight's going to be pushing on through a lot of stun units. There's some Staff of Sanctuary, Staff of Sanctuary, Staff of Sanctuary, bringing back all 3 of those units pretty quickly, trying to finish off those Banshees. Still a lot of Obsidian Statues. The Obsidian Statue is pretty much out of mana, though. Paladin could be in trouble, as we're going to look at the Paladin. Does it? Yes, Potion of Invulnerability transferred at just the last moment. Both sides still fighting their way through. Stormbolt going down onto the Death Knight. Paladin now needs to get away. Paladin could be in some serious trouble. He's trying to head back, and the Paladin going to go ahead and perhaps try to walk back home, or perhaps get some holy lights still from a distance. All right, that Paladin is just pretty much asking for trouble, getting a holy light right there, as well, the water elemental going to get caught and surrounded. All right, Mountain King still looking okay for now. That Paladin needs to get sent home and healed back up. I believe all 3 Staff of Sanctuaries are still on cooldown and will be a little bit while longer. All right, Knights getting resurrected. There's that Paladin now getting healed. More Knights, well, heading back home and just using time, hit points and mana, natural regeneration as a resource. And that is something important to remember. The Archmage has better regeneration for mana than Obsidian Statues without mana. And then on top of that, having Staff of Sanctuary, or no, not Obsidian Statues, excuse me, and then having the Staff of Sanctuary as additional hit point regeneration as just part of cooldown is big. This Paladin, however, could have a very, very bad day. He's just going to be standing there. He's going to be stunned and in trouble. Meanwhile, the Knights and the Archmage now trying to make their way over. Fly Machine still keeping track of things up through the air here, as that Paladin is nearly healed back up. 66 supply compared to 57. Paladin now ready to go in some action. 6-4-3 going up against 5-4-4. Both sides fighting. Water Elementals trying to push through. Stormbolt onto the Death Knight, as the Death Knight tries to navigate all of this traffic, getting caught amongst all of these units. The Mortar teams are still somehow finding ways to splash damage against all of these Banshees in the back here. That superior range is really the big deal. One Knight actually ventured, well, perhaps he was going to get possessed, ends up back getting Staff of Sanctuary out of a tough spot, as we're looking at a very low hit point Knight being able to dodge some big damage and still somehow survive. Locust Swarm is online for the Crypt Lord, as that is going to hit points all across the board. All right, I believe that low hit point Knight was finally taken down. Meanwhile, however, we're going to see a surround onto the Crypt Lord. Crypt Lord may end up getting out of that, not forced to use the Scroll of Town Portal at all, as we see another Impale. Well, shut down another Knight. Paladin about to come back online. Are we going to see a Staff of Sanctuary on that Mountain King? No, we are not. Paladin a split second late on being able to come back alive, get a Holy Light, and instead the Mountain King falls at level 4. Is this the beginning of the end for Infi, who is now down to 42 supply and, well, going to be running out of gold in his gold mine on the bottom left here in just a moment. 61 supply compared to 47. Mountain King trying to get resurrected. Archmage now continuing to push on over. Mass Teleport not going to do much in this fight right now. Not enough mana. Meanwhile, more damage just pushing on through again and again. Knights trying to chase down these units, has 3-2 upgrades, and with Devotion or a very strong armor on those Knights, 13 armor overall. All right, looks like a low hit point Knight could end up getting taken down, and no, he's going to be able to back away again. More damage still getting racked up here. Mortar team trying to go after those Banshees, is going to find it, however, on the wrong end of a Death Coil Frost Nova, as we've mentioned so much in the past. All right, there goes another Knight again, but a yellow Turncoat Knight this time around. All right, Water Elemental is going to try and dive in on those Banshees again. Another gets taken down. More damage. Crypt Lord down to 193 hit points. Going to be forced to try and back away. There's a Holy Light to try and save. And this battle, a lot of Obsidian statues without mana are in this battle here. Meanwhile, we're going to see this Crypt Lord down to 372. Another Staff of Sanctuary. Both sides fighting. Are we going to see more damage onto that Crypt Lord? Crypt Lord trying to back away as the Paladin now starting to finally get low on mana. There was another Impale. Low hit point, Mass Teleport in order to get a tactical retreat away, and it does do exactly that. Mountain King about to get back out onto the battlefield, perhaps needing to get a Scroll of Regeneration here to heal back up. Well, there's a Knight there. Are we going to see a staff onto that Paladin? No, we are not. Militia now being called over. Mountain King about to come back out online. 43 supply compared to 58. Only mining at the northern gold mine, not yet at full saturation. And also in the upkeep, Paladin is in some serious trouble, down to 69 hit points, trying to keep that distance away. There goes an Impale, and 3 peasants already taken down quickly. All right, Mountain King back out onto the battlefield here, ready to go. Paladin perhaps needs to get in another Holy Light or get Staff of Sanctuary back home, as we're looking at this battle here. All right, a couple of Acolytes could easily get cleaned up here. Mortar teams trying to keep that distance, well, trying to stay alive. Is it going to absorb, or well, Stormbolt straight up onto another Banshee? Down goes another Banshee there, but we could be looking at more possession. There's going to be another possession here in just a moment, but no, the Banshee gets taken down. All right, so we're still trying to figure out our fights here, as we're looking at the Mortar team attempting to take down that gold mine off to the north. There goes another Banshee again. So Banshees versus Knights, both sides fighting, and a big difficult number, as we now see level 7 on the Crypt Lord. Mortar team was able to take down that gold mine off to the north, stop all the mining. So what you see is what you get, but Happy still comes out on top. Long drawn out game here, back and forth, a lot of action from different angles, and well, Infi ultimately losing that Mountain King in that fight there with the Paladin under the Sanctuary effect, unable to heal, ends up being the beginning of the end, as all of the remaining fights really went Happy's way without the presence of that Mountain King and those Stormbolts. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.